So before we get into the meditation proper, I'd like to just read to you and comment upon some of the parts of my newsletter on Aries, the most recent one that you can find on my website. And the symbolism of Aries, as we approach the full moon tomorrow, of course, we're really right in the full moon period now. Aries is the new impulse, the annually amended planetary plan. Annually amended planetary plan, emerging from the center where the will of God is known, Shambhala, the planetary crown chakra that we connect with in the meditation, broadcasting the force of the first ray of will or power, one of the rays to pour through Aries, of course, and Aries being the first zodiac sign. And of course, we've just had the equinox for the full moon, roughly 2 weeks ago, the equal day, equal night, that firmly establishes the new cycle. And Aries is a fire sign, fire being a symbol of the mind esoterically, and is ruled by the god of war, Mars. Aries is the warrior, whether it's wielding a sword in ancient Sparta, holding a machine gun in Ukraine, or the warrior of light who holds the line upon the inner planes, where inner causes precede outer effects. Aries rules the head, and as a fire sign has a close association with the mental plane and ideation. Mercury, as esoteric ruler of Aries, reflects this mental process, but also represents the intuition or direct knowledge. And so humanity is going through many battles today, one of which is between the warring pairs of opposites upon the mental plane. The battle for free thinking and the speech that clothes thought is a fundamental right and primary tenet of FDR's 4 freedoms. Battle for free thinking and the speech that clothes thought. Hence, in these trying times, to paraphrase William Blake, we must not cease from mental fight, nor shall our swords sleep in our hands. The battlefield upon the mental plane is where the propaganda war continues, which I'll be commenting upon in my first talk today, attempting to insidiously shape human thinking, projected through the astral plane via lies and deception, subverting and confusing thought, and creating endless distractions. Aries ruler Mars, along with Neptune, rule the astral plane, where so much distortion occurs. And of course, the solar plexus chakra, the seat of the emotional body. And especially aided by Neptune's lower expression as it currently passes through Pisces. Hence, invoking the image of the Tibetan wisdom deity, Manjushri, is a potent visualization for Aries, with his fiery sword cutting through spiritual materialism and discerning the truth. Also, in my newsletter for Aries, I discuss the symbolism of the Fool's tarot card that most of you are familiar with. And the Fool tarot card is most symbolic of the solar hero's journey into the unknown. Solar, as in the sun, as in being exalted in Aries. Sun in spring in the northern hemisphere, gaining its strength after the previous seasons, after winter. And the Fool is the very first card in the major arcana of the tarot deck, representing new beginnings, opportunities, and trailblazing initiatives. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yes, this is Aries, the first zodiac sign that channels the first ray of will or power, that initiates the spiritual year. Fool is also the jester and the trickster. This is Mercury, the esoteric ruler of Aries, which is perhaps more well known, Mercury in this guise, for its exoteric rulership of tricky Gemini. And to quote another author, the hero's journey begins with the Fool. He walks blithely along, not looking where he's going and completely unaware he's about to step over the edge of a precipice. He carries his past in a bag on a stick. In his other hand is a small white flower, and a dog follows at his heels. This is the archetype of the wise fool whose lack of worldly experience appears to put him at a disadvantage, but it means his mind is open to another level of consciousness, whether he realizes it or not. He lives on the edges of life and society and goes his own way regardless of what others think. The wise fool is the holy fool or divine child, a lunatic who hides genius within his madness. The fool is also the archetype of the green man, who represents the start of a new cycle, new life, and fresh beginnings. He has the innocent spirit of a child who doesn't understand the dangers of the world he's about to enter. So let us proceed to the meditation now. We still have the conscious meditation on slide, on share. Do we?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So let us once again release the activity of the morning thus far. Moving into that quiet space within. That place of congregation and communing with our group brothers and sisters here and around the world. Sounding beyond 3 times for individual and group alignment. We see soul and personality, the lights of each blended as one greater radiant light, shining outward in service to Europe and the world, connecting with our group brothers and sisters, wherever they may be on the planet. And reminding ourselves of the 5 planetary centers: New York, Geneva, London, Darjeeling, Tokyo. And what actually Europe is in this map. We should have well imprinted upon our brains by now. From Portugal and Britain in the west to the western portions of Russia and Turkey in the east. From Scandinavia in the north to the Mediterranean nations of the south. This is Europe. And we remind ourselves again of the three planetary centers. Shambhala, where the will of God is known. Hierarchy, the ashrams of the Christ. Humanity, civilization. And we note, of course, the group between hierarchy and humanity, the new group of world service, spiritual agents, so-called. Of which we are all part in some capacity or other. And so we visualize the light of the group personality, cohesive, integrated, and aligned with the greater radiance of the group soul, directing our combined light, emanating outward in service toward the unification of Europe. And so we vision the group soul anchored within the group of world service, planetary Asana center, bridge between hierarchy and humanity. The eye of Sanat Kumara watching over the world. We then extend a penetrating laser light through hierarchy into Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known. Penetrating laser light to Shambhala. As individuals and as a group. We invoke the Lord of the world at Shambhala and the right precipitation of the planetary plan. Likewise, we direct another luminous shaft of light toward humanity. And so we bridge the higher to the lower in our light weaving of the planetary rainbow bridge. Light weaving of the planetary rainbow bridge, the outer Karana. Let us ponder again for a moment upon the theme of this conference, European unity toward global unification, inspired from this passage by the Tibetan. Quote, workers increasingly will be drawn to Great Britain and to the continent of Europe. From the United States of America, the teaching must go out. But Europe is the field for the education of the world in the ideas of a true world unity and for the wise presentation of the plan. From that continent can the inspiration go forth to the east and the west. Unquote. Education of the world in the ideas of a true world unity and a wise presentation of the plan. And in his role as Regent of Europe, we invoke the aid of Mater Rakotsi, also known as Count Saint-Germain, who works very closely with the one we call the Christ. The Regent of Europe, Mater Rakotsi. And so now, during this global crisis where a large part of it is focused in Europe, we direct our attention toward the triangle of Russia, Britain, and the USA. We recognize that Europe is the mother of the USA, and we visualize the luminous points of the triangle, the souls of those nations. Indigo blue, love, wisdom. The USA and Britain, and violet, ceremonial order for Russia. We visualize the energies circulating vibrantly around the triangle to each lighted point. And we visualize the great fountain in Geneva as being the eye of this triangle. Geneva, the heart of Europe. You can keep your microphone muted, please. Sorry, what's that? We also invoke the assistance of the Devas, or angelic kingdom, in their sacred ceremonial duties. The angels, the archangels, the various other grades of angelic beings. We recall the statement that when the Christ returns, he'll come with a great band of angels. We visualize vibrant energy continuously circulating around the three sides of the nation's triangle, creating harmony and balance. See the lines of communication opening up as a result between these nations. With Geneva playing a mediating role. Let us hold this potent visualization for a minute, seeing the planetary heart center of Geneva as this harmonizing eye in the triangle. We see the great jet of water spurting up heavenward, shedding rainbows around it. Let us reflect for a moment upon the Aquarian souls of USA and Russia, whose Dharma is to lead humanity into the Aquarian age. Aquarius, the water bearer who pours forth in world service for thirsting humanity. And so we pour the light of our group soul through the three cities of these nations: New York City, London, Moscow, nourishing them with the energy of love wisdom, which happens to be the soul ray of the Western Hemisphere. Indigo blue love wisdom. Moscow, London, New York City. And as we do so, we note the increased vibrancy of the forces circulating around the nation's triangle. We see each of the 3 points lighting up, becoming more radiant. In communication with one another. And we ponder upon the mottos for these nations. USA, I light the way. Britain, I serve. Russia, I link two ways. And now we return our attention to the planetary heart, Geneva, as the as the synthesizing center within the triangle, and for Europe as a whole. We reimagine and visualize Geneva's mighty fountain as a symbol of its first-ray soul and of spiritual aspiration reaching heavenward. The blood that pumps powerfully through the planetary heart, carrying the essential life force around the planet. And accordingly, we see Geneva's direct relation to hierarchy, working through Darjeeling and the other planetary centers, London, New York, Tokyo. And as we hold this visualization, we proceed to sound the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out. May it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power restore the plan on earth. Restore the plan on earth. Now, as in previous days of the conference, I'd like to invite our friend Uta Gabbay for another shorter meditation. Thank you, Uta.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, again. So from the big picture, we ground again in our group field, in our group service unit as we start our last day. In terms of our group process, Svetlana has given us yesterday in the sharing, in the evening sharing, a perspective, an overview of our process, which I would like to highlight again. In the first 1.5 days, approximately, we have brought out the opposing energies. We have replicated in our microcosm the energetic situation in the world, in Europe and the wider world. And towards the end of the second day, we came into more of a balance. And yesterday we could sense a harmonizing, a quieting in the group field. And in this calm, we as a group have the chance to come into alignment with a higher magnetic center, what the Tibetan calls a point of emergence. So, continuing to hold this creative tension together may enable each of us, and especially also our groups in which we are involved, to align with this higher point of emergence that we are touching here, perhaps together. And of course, also this will contribute to the new group of world servers as a whole. So once we stand solidly in the will to love together, once we have mastered this, then we may bear constructively the new light coming in through our work. Then it will be a loving light with which we illuminate the dark places harmlessly. So let us again, for this last day of our conference now, affirm our intent to unity and to this deepening process of unification in ourselves and as a group. So we stand together in the will to love, touching back into this place between the shoulder blades, where love and will unite. Holding the will to love together consciously for a moment, holding this field in which the will to love is a stable quality. And then bringing our minds into telepathic resonance, telepathic field. Standing consciously as souls in incarnation, united in our common purpose and work. Attuning to our ashramic co-workers, invoking their support and guidance. And holding this tension towards the higher point of emergence. So let us continue to hold this channel open through our work today. The group heart, the group mind, group soul, the ashramic group, and the master. and ready for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Uta. The will to love, bringing in the first and second rays, which of course are the soul and personality rays of Geneva, amongst other things. This mysterious will to love. It's quite an interesting phrase. So we have a few minutes for sharing. If anyone would like to jump into the chat or put their hand up. Any impressions from the meditation? As we all know, the group meditations are far more powerful than individual meditations. And we receive impressions that we otherwise would not get. So feel free to share.
Good morning, friends. This is Alexander. Deeply resonated with me what Judy shared yesterday, and there was someone else, I don't remember, about the correlation of the truth and the trust, and relating it to word 3. I see it as a main focus for us at this stage, establishing trust. And despite the differences of our recognition of the truth, our perspectives of the truth, to allow each other to have different views and receive it with respect. And that's diversity of views will help us to bring together us all together in a higher point of view. But it's a long path. We are just at the beginning.
Many thanks, Alexander. A great mantra: truth and trust, trust in truth, and truth in trust. Jonathan says, thank you for the beautiful meditations. Thoughts on the planetary centers from this morning's meditation: New York, Asana Center, and Emerging Center, magnetic to the necessity for global right governance, the UN, the United Nations. London, as an emerging center, becoming magnetic to the reality of the divine economy of the one life. Geneva, as an emerging center, becoming magnetic to global humanitarianism, motivated by brotherhood. And of course, if we are meditating correctly as a group and other groups, we are really invoking these centers too, into greater potency, expression. Michael says, looking at the Pax flag of Rurik, does anyone also see the Aquarian triangle surrounded by the love center bringing the points together? Can we see this flag raised high over Geneva and each nation holding up the same flag? It's an excellent suggestion, Michael. And Helen says, will to love, a great energy, individual and group-wise, to begin our work of unifying within us and around us. And of course, brings to mind the masters of the first and second ray, Moya, who rules over, in many ways, the occult teachings, but of course, inextricably or unseparated from the Master Kutumi, the Master of Love, Wisdom, and who, in fact, will take the next office of the Christ in the Aquarian dispensation. We have a few more moments if you'd like to share. All right. Some great contributions there. Thank you very much, everyone. Oh, one more chat here. AC says, strong meditation, I can feel love around the Europe and spread abroad. Grateful. Thank you.